as far as Kai goes, I think that we had been talking the first time about any thoughts or impressions in regards to him. Obviously, there's a lot of hype and hope about him that he could become the first full-blooded Filipino to reach the NBA. 19 years old, so certainly shown flashes. But as far as what your impressions are now, having played against him twice, what do you see the pros and the cons of him so far, and as far as what the hype about him is?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, he's massive. He's really big. And obviously I'm only like 6'1", 6'2", so everyone on the floor can kind of seem big, but he's like a genuine 7 foot plus. Like, he's actually long and tall. But you know, he does have a touch. So I can absolutely see the upside. I can absolutely see the potential. Like, he does have some guard skills and like control with the ball and stuff like that. So I think from that standpoint, it's super exciting. And you know, I'm no like scout or analyst or anything like that, so I'm not going to go into too much detail with that. But one thing I did notice is he kind of has a poise to him. I remember the first time he came to Wollongong to play us, you know, he was at the free throw line, and we have a rule in the NBL where if you miss 2 free throws in a row at like an opposing gym, the crowd gets free cheeseburgers. So he stood up to the free throw line for the first time, and our fans smelt blood in the water seeing this, you know, tall guy at the line. So they start going nuts, and Kai kind of, I remember I was on the bench at the time, Kai kind of walked up and just kind of iced both of them without, you know, any hesitation or worry or stuff like that. And usually, you know, the fans going nuts, smelling that blood in the water is enough to intimidate some. So I have noticed he does play with like a certain level of poise and control. Obviously in his career, he's played, you know, overseas and in some big stages and stuff like that. So that's definitely going to help. And yeah, I mean, the NBL wouldn't have drawn him and given him this sort of buzz unless, you know, he had the potential to do what they're saying. So the potential is definitely there for sure.
Yeah, and I was going to say in the game that I saw, the most recent one, that he kind of started out a little bit slow. You know, that he's not necessarily a starter, which I know some of the comments were going on about that. But, you know, he did get significant enough minutes. And I thought it was really interesting that, you know, you guys, Illawarra had a fairly comfortable lead, even going into the half. And that he was really kind of at the forefront of the comeback, where they did match up with you eventually. And, you know, you guys fortunately, again, pulled ahead. But he seemed to be a pretty critical part of that. Like, his performance actually got upped out coming out of the second half, and did seem to be part of the effort to get back in the game, really.
Yeah, he was. The interesting thing about Adelaide and the team he's on is that they have, up until about a week ago, they had 3 really nice big men. They had Isaac Humphries, who's now out for the season with an injury, who's, you know, went to Kentucky, has been in and out of the NBA and stuff like that. Daniel Johnson's like a 10+ year veteran, and then Kai. And they actually have another guy named Cam Bairstow, who used to be one of the best college players that I've heard, and then also had a stint in the NBA. So the interesting part with Adelaide is that, you know, they're very big dominated. They throw the ball inside and stuff like that. And on any given night, one of these guys can kind of be really dangerous. So, and yeah, Kai definitely had stints which were problematic, but, you know, they're a lot to handle just because, you know, when they're throwing the ball inside, you've got to definitely give it enough respect and attention. And then that can kind of open up other guys on the floor. So, yeah, that's one team we were happy to kind of take care of.